I know Solo ain't trying to fight, but here's a nigga that was trying to fight, and evidently it didn't go the way he wanted it to.
I've been
Over
waiting
the
to talk
weekend,
about this.
yeah, over the weekend, evidently there was a controversy. And Ty, if you could help me kind of go over what it is that happened and why everybody's so upset.
This past weekend, we had the Javante Tank Davis,
Javon,
Lamont Roach, um,
turn.
uh, championship fight. Um, in the fight, Javante Davis was an overwhelmingly um, high picked fighter to win the fight. And the fight went
1600.
1600. Um, and the fight went 12 rounds. It was a competitive fight. It came down to the cards at the end of the fight. The judges um, picked and made it a majority draw, which basically means that two of the judges out of three had the fight a draw, and the other judge had they picked Tank. So it ultimately ended in a majority draw. Now the controversy comes in, and I don't remember the exact round that it was, but in one of the rounds, Tank took a knee. Now in boxing, typically, if you take a knee or your glove touches the mat, that is considered, and you've been punched, that is considered a knockdown. Tank was punched in the eye. He stepped back, and then he took a knee. The referee took him to the corner. He told the referee that he had something in his eye. His corner wiped his eye, and they commenced back to boxing. Now, all the while, everybody in the arena is looking like, what the fuck just happened? Because he took a knee and the referee didn't take a point. Ultimately, the big question is it going to be overturned? And right now, the Boxing Commission is making that decision on whether or not to accept the knockdown or the kneel as a knockdown, which would then, in fact, change the scorecards, which would utterly cause Tank to have his first L on his record and lose his belts. So that's where we're at right now. They haven't made a decision, but we should be finding out in the next couple of days whether that draw turns to a loss, or if he just keeps the belts and they have a rematch.
What are your thoughts, gentlemen? Solo, then Black Ron. What say you about this crazy shit that happened over the weekend, bro?
First of all, I watch all Tank Davis fights. I watch all of them since day one. I've been watching all his fights. Now, the person he went and let's just look at the guy he fought first. This guy had to gain weight to fight him. You must understand that Roach already fought Tank in the gutter when they fought at Mayweather's camp, where there's no rounds. You stay there until somebody get knocked out. They already was familiar with each other anyway. Now, that fight, when he went down, he was supposed to get a point tuck. Everybody knows that. That point, I told you, I am a Tank Davis fan. So don't get it twisted. But I'm also a boxing fan. I know what's fair is fair. And he did hit the ground. He did put his hand down. I saw it, but he got right back up. It don't matter. It is what it is. Will they go against Tank Davis? No. No, he's not going to lose this thing. None of that's going to happen. I'm going to tell you why. Because the boxing, you can't take away a guy who's making the money for it. There's nobody replacing with, and Roach ain't that guy. So they're just going to leave it as it is. I promise you, nothing's going to happen of this. Now, will it be a round two? I mean, a match two? I would love to see it. Oh, my God, I would love to see it, because I think Roach got the best of my boy through those rounds. I think he did. I really do. Because a lot of times I thought he was hitting him, and it just looked like Tank was just going through the motions. I don't know if y'all saw the fight. It just looked like he was just, like a sparring match or some junk, man. It just didn't look the Tank Davis, I'm going to go out there and kill you. It just looked like this guy had his number. So it was competitive. They both throw some good punches, but I would love to see another one to decide who they were. Give me another 12 rounds.
Ron?
Tank lost, bro. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
So you don't have no take?
At no point during the fight, did Tank have Roach anywhere near as weak or wobbly as Roach had Tank at 3 different points in the fight? He caught him with a couple solid hooks that really rocked him. That like really made him take a step back, really had him stumbling. Only problem with it is Lamont Roach swell up easy. So the shots that Tank landed had him knotted up. But Roach threw more punches, landed more punches. Problem being, because he was the one that had to rise up in weight class, because he was the small dog on the fight, because Tank didn't produce the card and everything like that, it was Tank's belt to lose more than it was Lamont Roach's belt to win. That being said, he had to definitively win the fight, which is why the knockdown is controversial, which would mean that the referee would face a penalty because he didn't give Tank a standing 8 count. When your glove touch the ground, unless it is marked a slip, that is a knockdown, and a standing 8 count must be given out there. You allowed him to go to this corner and wipe his eye. Okay, so what's next? Niggas gonna be able to go to their corner and get a little water. Look at the fight. Hold on. No, I ain't quitting. I'm just thirsty. Let me get a little water.
Hilarious.
They gonna be able to go over to the corner and get his gloves tightened up. Nigga hurt. Nigga braid get knocked loose. Nigga gonna be able to go to the corner and this girl can come up and fix his hair, and then they get back to the fight. Man. Like, where will it end? Where will it end? If it's totally perfectly all right for the rules of a knockdown to be sidestepped because there was grease in his eye and it was burning. Now I'm not gonna say that he was lying, because when something get in your eye, you panic. He looked panicked.
That's the point of boxing.
But that's what I'm saying. The punch didn't even look like it landed to inflict that amount of panic in him. The worst I've ever seen Tank get beat is the night he whooped Rolly Romero. Rolly had that nigga on skates.
Yeah,
he was getting his ass whooped.
Dominic Cruz is the one who scared him the most. See, Dominic Cruz put a nice.
Yeah, that was a good fight too.
Isaac Cruz.
Yeah. No, it's Dominic. What?
No, it's Isaac Cruz.
Pitbull. I just know niggas' last names. Pitbull.
His name is Isaac. It's Pitbull. Isaac.
Yeah.
Isaac.
Yeah.
So,
but
that being said, I think because of their history, Roach didn't scare him. Most of these guys he fight, that be his first time facing him. Because him and Roach grew up fighting, he was like, oh, I got this in my back pocket. And he went into the fight cocky. And Roach was on a campaign to whoop his ass all night long. And he did a very good job of convincing me that in the rematch, he's going to win. And he's not just going to win.
I don't think so. This is where I disagree with you. I disagree with you. Let me tell you why. For one, the Tank Davis that y'all saw the other night wasn't a full Tank Davis. You can look at it and tell. Look at his legal problems that he having. He had a short training camp. Come on, you got to take all that in consideration. Come on, if you're boxing,
man, that nigga got right out of prison and won a fight when he boxed the last nigga he just beat.
The last nigga he fought, but he also just went back to court. Just going through the legal stuff. They still trying to lock his ass back up.
Those are self-inflicted issues.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It didn't feel like, even when he was walking out with Jim Jones, then it looked like I said this gonna be a bad night. I said this guy, even with the training, doesn't look the same. And like you said, your point was he knew that Roach wasn't scared of him, and he was kind of fearing Roach. So I just feel like the next fight, after he don't been in there with him, he don't felt all that good stuff. And you also said that when he touched his eye, that punch don't look like it meant anything. It really didn't. It really didn't. him hitting the ground, man, I couldn't understand. I don't looked at the video 50 million times, and I still can't figure out why this brother hit the goddamn ground. I'm trying to figure out, was it a
Because he
punch
was being
before that?
cocky. He didn't think that
I
it was
don't
going to
know.
be close at the end of the fight. He did that shit in round 6. He didn't think that the fight was going to be as close as it was. He really thought that he had enough points. Oh, it's nothing I forgot to mention. He also would have lost if the ref would have deducted a point from him from that third low blow he threw. He hit that man below the belt 3 different times, and each time he got warned. And the last time, the ref timed out and walked him over like he was about to deduct the point, and instead warned him. The referee did everything he could to keep Tank in the fucking fight, scorecard wise.
That's what I said. That's boxing's moneymaker right there, and I don't think that they're gonna even. If
I
they
don't know
have the
why
choice,
this generation thinks that a nigga is no longer great because he loses a fucking fight.
Well,
all of the greats got L's on their record, nigga. The 2 coldest niggas I ever saw fight was Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. And both them niggas got L's on their record. Tyson got 10 losses, nigga.
Yeah, okay, hold on. Before, I'd like to chime in on that. Because you can say that the greatest had a peak, right? Like, not all of the greatest are the greatest for all time. Like, Muhammad Ali, didn't end his career undefeated, obviously, right? Mike Tyson the same. And that fight we saw on Netflix was ass, if we can be honest, right? It was a money grab, and he lost, which he shouldn't have. Let's keep it real. He lost because of his age, because he's no longer in his prime, but he still was the greatest when he was the greatest. So I just don't think that, saying, oh, these young men, I think you could be the greatest when you was the greatest. But, I wouldn't put Babe Ruth up against.
What I'm saying is, we live in this post-Mayweather generation where motherfuckers feel like you're not the shit unless you got an NO record.
Well, even Mayweather, didn't he take an L that last one?
No,
he never did. No,
he's 51-0.
All right, I thought there was a close call at one point in time, but I wanted to get Ty's opinion on whether or not, or what they should do. What you think as a result of the results of this fight?
It's not so much as what I think they should do as it's more of what I think is going to happen. I don't think there's going to be a rematch. And
why?
Because
Tank kept on saying, whether we fight or not, I wish him luck.
It's going to be more like Tank is really, he's got more to lose than gain by fighting Lamont Roach. Like, at this point, they both, Tank fought this fight on a more cautious level. You could tell from the very onset of the fight that he was extremely cautious fighting Lamont because he's familiar with Lamont. Lamont is familiar with him. He understands that Lamont had punching power. He spoke about it in the face-offs and in the press conferences. There was a lot of respect. There's always going to be trash talking. That's the hype to fight. But there was a lot of respect between these two brothers. They both, one's from DC, one's from Baltimore. So they both were extremely familiar with each other. Both knew who they was getting in the ring with. So when Tank came out there and he boxed the way he did, I could tell off the top, all right, he has much respect for this dude, is why he's moving the way he's moving. He wasn't so aggressive. He wasn't as sometimes how Tank can go in there, he can be a little bit just carefree. He could be carefree. He wasn't carefree at all against Lamont Roach, and rightfully so. If they don't overturn the knockdown and he gets through that, there won't be a rematch. It's unfortunate to Lamont because Lamont fought a great fight, and yes, I also think that he did enough to win. But when you fight a champion, you have to win convincingly. The scorecards will favor a champion more times than not. So that is not surprising to me. But if they fight again, which I don't think is going to happen, it could go bad for Tank, because now you have a Lamont Roach who's more confident, who realizes that I can take him out, who's I've done it, and has a chip on his shoulder, and realizes I'm going to have to go in there and put in more work. So I think Tank is going to do exactly what Tank said he was going to do prior to the Lamont Roach fight, which is he's going to fight probably 3 more times. He'll fight Haney, and he'll probably wrap up with a Teofimo Lopez or possibly a Shakur. Shakur is going through this whole thing with his hands getting hurt, and we don't even know what the hell if he's even going to continue boxing, because this has been an ongoing thing with his hands getting hurt after every fight. So right now, potentially, there's a Ryan Garcia rematch on the horizon for Tank and Devin Haney, and I think after that he retires and tries to preserve his O. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows that he's getting to that point where he can be touched. He's not invincible anymore. What's up?
Was it a good fight? I haven't heard anything about the fight. All I've heard about is the result. Like, what was it?
Okay, so backstory. It was DC versus Baltimore. These two niggas are the perennial representatives of their respective hoods. Lamont Roach is the DC's poster boy. Tank Davis is the Baltimore poster boy. You remember the backstory for Creed 3?
Of course.
Where Jonathan felt like
oh, my bad.
They didn't say Killmonger. You stupid.
It was Killmonger and Kang, but it's all good. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so I'll put it like that. So Kang felt like
I was thinking that. That's what it was.
Kang felt like Killmonger stole his life. He was like, "Nigga, you got all the shine and the glory, but you really out here pimping my story."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how Lamont Roach felt about it. Like, bro, like I'm really the one that came from the trenches. I'm really still in the trenches, and I can fight just as good as this man. But he's the one that gets all the shine and all the acclaim. This is 5th or 6th time here at the Barclays Center. I'm gonna show these people that I'm a big ticket fighter too. I'm worth the price of admission. Also, Lamont Roach comes from a division where if you're not Mexican, you probably not one of the perennial names. He fights in the little body division. To to Solo's point, he had to catch weight in order to fight. And they fought for a WBA lightweight belt, which is 140. So if a nigga had to gain weight to get 140, that means that he's gonna have to gain weight. All Tank got to do is go up to 147, and then Lamont Roach can't even see it. So to Ty's point, it's not gonna be a rematch. You heard Tank kind of say it like 3 times in his ring interview that I wish him the best, and what I'm saying, because he did this fight for the hood, so that all the niggas in the barbershops could finally put it to bed who would win if they fought.
But it's not put to bed.
Oh yes, it is.
It's put to bed, bro.
They know Roach put that hammer on him. They know Roach was in it to win it. Everybody knows it. It's like I said, you know what I'm saying. For a Tank Davis fan, he wasn't the Negro I wanted him to be, but Roach was everything I thought he was gonna be.
In the Cruz fight, in the Rolly fight, and in Tank's last 2 fights, he's shown me chinks in his armor to where motherfuckers are starting to pick Tank apart. And be it his outside of the ring issues, or be it the fact that he's been top dog for the last 10 years, he's now full of himself. He don't fight with the same hunger and meanness that he fought with when he was a little young 125 pounder. He needs to lose in order to get snapped out of his new reality, which is he walks around feeling invincible.
Wow. Would you say that about Mayweather?
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't necessarily agree with that at all. I
Why,
think
Ty?
I,
Why?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna
Light
tell you.
skinned ass nigga. You
I'm gonna
just
tell you
always
why. I'm
be
gonna tell you
arguing
why.
with me.
Yo, look. I'm gonna say why, right? Because because one of the things that we all pointed out, but like really, if you understand boxing and you also understand just fighting, when you fight somebody 3 or 4 times, eventually they're gonna catch on to what your moves is. And so when we got to understand these dudes grew up together. They was sparring, they was coming up in the ranks, they was sparring again. We meet up again, we sparring again. By the time we get to an actual main event, nigga, we done fought 4 or 5 times. So the
Yeah.
fight is gonna look totally different in our eyes as opposed to the audience's eyes. So
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
that's why I said he came into this fight cautionary for a reason. He knew who he was fighting. Maybe we didn't know who he was fighting because we don't get to see Lamont Roach on a bigger scale like we do Tank. But previous to this fight, prior to this fight, he beat up a Frank Martin who was undefeated. Knocked him out. He knocked out Rolly Romero. He knocked out all. Let's not forget. Prior to this fight, he has the highest knockout percentage in boxing history of 95%. That is the highest out of all the weight classes in boxing and all of the hard hitters in boxing right now. He has the highest knockout percentage. That does not change just because he had a tough fight with Lamont Roach, because Lamont Roach and him are very, very familiarized with each other. I think if this was a Tank and a fighter who he has not fought, it would have been a totally different fight. And I think that
So if this would have been Tank versus Garcia,
he would have beat the Garcia again. Garcia's not. First of all, Garcia is a YouTuber. I'm not going to say that enough. He's a YouTuber. He is not who people
Brian
want to think he
Garcia is
is.
not who people think he is. He
Yeah,
could
he's
just
not.
Nope.
he got a nice punch on him. That's all.
He has a right hook, and that right hook, if it should not win him as many fights as it does, because that's all he has is a
Nigga,
right hook.
a right hook made Deontay Wilder a star. Hell is you
Uh,
talking about?
no. A right hook is not what made Deontay Wilder a star. What made Deontay Wilder a star is his punching power. He can knock you out with a cross, a hook. I've seen him knock people out with uppercuts from distance. I saw him beat
With
Bermain
that right
and
hand
Berman.
though.
But I saw him beat, yeah, right hand, left hand. The man had but yes,
No,
you are
they
right.
nigga
You're
ain't
right.
never knocked nobody out with his left fucking hand.
Oh, that's a lie.
Deontay Wilder is a right
That's
hand clubber, nigga.
Listen. I'm not sitting here debating whether or not his right hand is not powerful. But to say he hasn't knocked anybody out with his left hand is absurd. He has, and so what
Boom,
I'm saying is,
boom,
I'm saying
boom,
what I what Berman
boom.
Berman Stavern, or whatever his name is, Berman Stavern, whatever the dude was from Jamaica, who talked all of that shit and then got in there and just got beat to a pummel. Yeah, look that fight up. But anyway, but more importantly, like I'm saying, I don't want you to get off the subject. But what I'm saying is that the version of Tank that we all saw is a version of a person who's fought the same person a multitude of times. So when you fight a person a multitude of times, they kind of know all of your tricks. If you're not able to come up with some new tricks, then that's what you saw, and that's exactly what we saw. It's two fighters that are equally on the same equal playing field. And with that being said, I think what you call it did just enough to come out with that fight. Now, again, I do stand by what I'm saying as far as if that were another fighter, if that was a different fighter than the person that he actually fought, then that I think the outcome would have been a lot different. Go ahead.
Uh, Deontay Wilder has never won a fight with his left hand, according to Box. He has won fights using his jab, and right hand cross, but not with his left hand.
Oh boy. Yo, look. If we're talking about every fight that he's won is the knockout blow was on the end of a right hand and he didn't use the left hands at all, then okay, fine, you get that. What I'm saying is he's equally powerful with both hands. If he prefers to use his right hand to use to knock somebody out, cool. But to say that he has no punching power in his left hand and his right hand, and he's a heavyweight, that's what I'm saying. It's absurd. That's what I'm talking about. Punching power. What I'm saying with Garcia, and you've seen it, I've seen it, we've all seen it. He fought Devin Haney and threw nothing but right hands the entire fight. I was like, another right hand, another right hand, another right hand, another right hand. It was the whole fight. He didn't throw anything else but a right hand. And for the first part of that fight, Devin Haney was winning the fight because he was dodging the right hand. Later in the fight, for some reason, he forgot that he only throws a right hand, and he got caught with it. So that's what I'm saying when I say that, yo, this is a YouTube fighter. The dude really only got one punch, and if you can outlast that punch, you can get him up out of there. So
I have a question for the both of y'all. When y'all talk about the Deontay Wilder, do y'all think Deontay Wilder will ever have another title?
No,
he's done.
And why?
His time has passed. To Vince's point earlier, niggas peak. And very rarely do you continue to win after you've peaked. There are very few fighters that won on their decline. It's the fact that they start to lose that let a nigga know maybe it's time to hang up the old gloves, champ. Like, his time has passed 3 fights ago. I honestly believe Tyson Fury stole that man's heart.
He did. He absolutely did.
He took all the fight out of nigga after that, bro.
He took Tyson Fury.
Yeah, when he knocked Tyson Fury out with a broken hand, and that man sat up and got up
like the Undertaker,
he realized he ain't had nothing left. That was I did my best, but I guess my guess wasn't good. Nigga, it wasn't good enough.